Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what is money really worth? Is it a source of happiness or a cause of endless worry? The Stoics teach us that money in itself is neither good nor bad. It's a tool, a means to an end, and its value depends entirely on how we choose to use it. But here's the real question. Are you the master of your money, or has it become the master of you? Many people chase wealth, thinking it will solve all their problems, only to discover that it magnifies their fears and desires. True richness, according to the Stoics, isn't found in the size of your bank account. It's found in mastering your desires, living with purpose, and using money to support a virtuous life. So, how can we rethink our relationship with money? How can we use it without being consumed by it? In this video, we'll explore how Stoic philosophy can help you approach wealth with clarity, discipline, and wisdom. 1. See money as a tool, not a goal. The Stoic philosophers, known for their profound wisdom and timeless teachings, often reminded us that money, like any external possession, is neither inherently good nor bad. It is simply a tool, a means to an end, not the end itself. In the words of Seneca, wealth is the slave of a wise man, the master of a fool. This statement encapsulates the Stoic view that money should serve us, not dictate our actions or define our worth. The pursuit of wealth is a dominant force in modern life, much as it was in ancient Rome. Yet, the Stoics were quick to point out the dangers of allowing money to become the ultimate goal. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This insight urges us to reconsider the true nature of abundance. Accumulating riches for their own sake often leads to a cycle of dissatisfaction, as the desire for more can never be fully satiated. True wealth, according to the Stoics, is rooted in self-control, gratitude, and a life aligned with virtue. Seneca's letters to his friend Lucilius offer a treasure trove of wisdom on the subject of wealth and its role in a virtuous life. In one letter he asserts, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This statement reflects the Stoic belief that poverty is a state of mind, not a condition of one's bank account. To be rich is to be content, and contentment arises from mastering one's desires rather than indulging them. The Stoics also emphasized the fleeting nature of wealth. Money, like all externals, is subject to the whims of fortune. As Epictetus famously said, "Wealth does not make a man rich, it only makes him busier." The more one possesses, the more one must guard, maintain, and worry over. This is why the Stoics advocated for a life of simplicity. By reducing our dependence on material wealth, we free ourselves from the anxiety and stress that often accompany it. Historical accounts of Stoic philosophers further illustrate their detachment from wealth. Cato the Younger, a prominent Roman statesman and Stoic, lived a life of deliberate austerity despite his high social standing. He dressed plainly, walked barefoot, and ate simple meals, choosing to lead by example. Cato's lifestyle was a powerful statement against the excesses of his time, and a reminder that true strength lies in self-discipline, not in possessions. To the Stoics, money was a tool to be used wisely. It could be employed to support one's family, assist those in need, or invest in endeavors that align with virtue. However, it should never become an object of obsession. Seneca cautioned against the moral corruption that often accompanies the blind pursuit of wealth. Wealth is often a cause of misfortune. To many, it has brought ruin instead of happiness. This observation is as relevant today as it was in ancient Rome. The pursuit of money, unchecked by reason and virtue, can lead to greed, envy, and moral decay. The Stoics also highlighted the importance of gratitude in reshaping our relationship with money. By focusing on what we already have, rather than what we lack, we cultivate a sense of abundance. Seneca wrote, "He is a great man who uses earthenware as if it were silver, and silver as if it were earthenware." This mindset allows us to appreciate wealth without becoming enslaved by it. When we view money as a tool rather than a goal, we can use it to enhance our lives and the lives of others without compromising our principles. Another key lesson from Stoicism is the practice of voluntary discomfort. The Stoics often subjected themselves to temporary hardships to prepare for the uncertainties of life and to remind themselves of what truly matters. Seneca, for instance, would periodically live as if he were poor, wearing coarse clothing and eating the simplest of meals. He described this practice in his writings. "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" This exercise not only builds resilience but also reduces our dependence on external wealth by demonstrating how little we truly need to live well. The Stoic approach to money is not about rejecting it entirely, but about using it wisely and with purpose. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Receive wealth or prosperity without arrogance, and be ready to let it go." This balanced attitude allows us to engage with money in a way that supports our values rather than undermines them. It also serves as a safeguard against the inevitable losses that life may bring. By holding wealth lightly, we protect ourselves from despair when fortune turns against us. The teachings of Stoicism challenge us to shift our perspective on wealth from one of accumulation to one of utility. Money, when viewed as a tool, can be a powerful means of doing good. It can provide for our families, support charitable causes, and enable us to pursue meaningful endeavors. But when money becomes the sole focus, it blinds us to the deeper, more lasting forms of wealth: wisdom, virtue, and inner peace. In conclusion, the Stoics remind us that true richness lies not in the size of our bank accounts but in the strength of our character. By seeing money as a tool rather than a goal, we can free ourselves from the endless pursuit of material wealth and focus instead on what truly matters. As Seneca wisely observed, the greatest wealth is a poverty of desires. This timeless insight invites us to live with purpose, gratitude, and a profound sense of contentment, regardless of our financial circumstances. 2. Practice gratitude. Gratitude, often viewed as a simple feeling of thankfulness for the good things in life, holds profound significance in Stoic philosophy. For the Stoics, gratitude is not just an emotional response, but a way of actively engaging with life, especially in the face of hardship or adversity. The Stoic approach to gratitude is rooted in the understanding that the external world is beyond our control, but how we respond to it is entirely within our power. Epictetus, a key Stoic philosopher, emphasized that our happiness does not depend on external circumstances, but on our judgments and reactions to those circumstances. In this light, gratitude becomes a tool for cultivating a positive mindset, regardless of what life throws our way. Practicing gratitude, according to the Stoics, means not just appreciating the good times, but also learning to find value in the challenges, difficulties, and setbacks that we encounter. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, in his Meditations, frequently reminded himself to be grateful for the present moment and the people he encountered, recognizing that each person, no matter how difficult, could teach him something important. Gratitude in Stoicism is a constant acknowledgement of the fleeting nature of life and an awareness that everything we have is temporary. It encourages the practice of appreciating what we have while we have it, rather than waiting for loss to remind us of its value. This approach leads to a deeper sense of contentment, as it shifts focus from what we lack to what we can appreciate in the here and now. Furthermore, gratitude in Stoicism is intertwined with the concept of amor fati, or the love of fate. This means embracing life as it comes, accepting both the good and the bad, and being thankful for the lessons that both offer. When faced with challenges, rather than resenting them, a Stoic practices gratitude by accepting them as opportunities for growth. This mindset transforms adversity into a chance to exercise virtues like patience, resilience, and wisdom. Gratitude, in this sense, becomes a powerful antidote to negativity and a way to foster emotional strength. The practice of gratitude also helps Stoics maintain perspective on what is truly important in life. By focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, we cultivate a sense of peace and fulfillment that is not dependent on external validation or material wealth. The Stoics also viewed gratitude as essential in relationships. By acknowledging the contributions and presence of others, we develop deeper, more meaningful connections. It allows us to see beyond the imperfections of others and appreciate their efforts and the role they play in our lives. Gratitude thus strengthens our bonds with the people around us, creating a network of support and understanding. In practical terms, a Stoic's practice of gratitude might involve daily reflections on the things they are thankful for, whether it's the opportunities of the day, the lessons learned from difficulties, or the relationships they cherish. This practice encourages mindfulness, helping individuals to stay grounded in the present moment, reducing anxiety about the future or regret about the past. Additionally, by regularly acknowledging the impermanence of life and the transient nature of external goods, a Stoic can cultivate a more profound appreciation for each moment. This mindset not only enhances emotional well-being, but also contributes to a life of virtue, as it aligns one's thoughts with the core Stoic principles of acceptance, resilience, and wisdom. In conclusion, the Stoic practice of gratitude goes beyond mere appreciation of the good in life. It is a transformative tool for cultivating emotional strength, fostering meaningful relationships, and living in alignment with one's values. By focusing on what is within our control and embracing life's challenges with gratitude, we can lead a more fulfilling, peaceful, and virtuous existence. Through gratitude, we embrace the full spectrum of life, learning to love not only the pleasures but also the difficulties, as they all contribute to our personal growth and wisdom. 3. Redefine riches. In Stoic philosophy, the concept of riches is profoundly different from the conventional understanding of wealth as an accumulation of material possessions or financial success. Stoics like Epictetus and Seneca understood that true wealth does not lie in external possessions, but in the cultivation of inner virtues, wisdom, and tranquility. According to the Stoics, External goods such as money, status, and material possessions are not inherently good or bad. What matters, they argue, is how we relate to these things and whether we allow them to control us. This distinction forms the foundation of the Stoic view of riches, which encourages individuals to redefine wealth by shifting their focus from the transient and unpredictable nature of external circumstances to the stability and self-sufficiency found within. One of the key tenets of Stoic philosophy is that our happiness and peace of mind are not dependent on material wealth. Instead, the Stoics believed that true riches lie in living a life of virtue, acting in accordance with reason, cultivating courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom. These virtues are within our control and can be practiced regardless of external conditions. For instance, a Stoic finds richness in practicing gratitude, kindness, and resilience in the face of adversity, all of which are independent of wealth or social status. Seneca, in his letters, repeatedly emphasizes that wealth, if not properly managed, can be a source of anxiety and discontent. He warns against the insatiable pursuit of material gain and highlights the importance of living in harmony with nature and accepting what we have. The Stoic does not see poverty as something to be feared or avoided at all costs, but rather as an opportunity to practice self-discipline and to detach from the need for excessive external goods. Similarly, Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reflects on the fleeting nature of material wealth and encourages individuals to focus on what truly brings lasting contentment. Living virtuously, making meaningful contributions to society, and cultivating inner peace. He reminds himself that the pursuit of external success often comes with an internal cost, as it can lead to anxiety, attachment, and a sense of inadequacy when circumstances inevitably change. In contrast, the Stoic view of wealth leads to a deep sense of freedom. By focusing on developing one's character and inner strength, individuals are less dependent on external circumstances and more capable of adapting to life's inevitable fluctuations. The Stoic is rich not because of what they own, but because they possess the ability to remain content, regardless of their external conditions. This is a wealth that no one can take away, unlike material wealth which can be lost in an instant due to misfortune, economic collapse, or the simple passage of time. Moreover, the Stoics' wealth is not measured by what they accumulate, but by how well they manage their desires and impulses. In a world that often encourages consumption and accumulation, Stoicism teaches that we can find peace by accepting the impermanence of material goods and focusing on the cultivation of inner qualities that truly enrich our lives. By reducing our desires and learning to be content with less, we free ourselves from the cycle of endless want and increase our sense of fulfillment. For the Stoic, wealth is not an external marker of success, but a reflection of one's inner state. How well one has trained their mind to respond to challenges with wisdom, patience, and equanimity. It is about being rich in virtues like courage, resilience, and the capacity to endure hardship with grace. In practical terms, a Stoic might choose to live simply, not out of necessity, but as a deliberate act of rejecting the conventional notion that more possessions equal greater happiness. They may embrace a lifestyle of moderation, finding contentment in the simple joys of life, whether in the beauty of nature, the love of family, or the pursuit of knowledge. The Stoic does not seek to escape the world but to engage with it fully, free from the distractions and attachments that prevent most people from experiencing true wealth. The Stoics' redefinition of riches also extends to their relationships with others. A person rich in Stoic virtues sees their relationships not as a means of gaining something for themselves, but as opportunities to practice kindness, patience, and generosity. They do not expect to be treated according to their status or wealth, but seek to be good to others regardless of their social position. The Stoics' wealth is measured in how much they contribute to the well-being of others, and how much they can remain unaffected by the fluctuations in other people's opinions or behaviors. The Stoic view of wealth also aligns with the idea of cosmopolitanism, the belief that all people are part of a greater whole. Since the Stoic recognizes that we are all connected as part of nature and the universe, their wealth is not isolated or individual, but is shared through acts of kindness, wisdom, and understanding. True riches in this sense are found not in hoarding resources for oneself, but in giving and sharing, in the pursuit of the common good. This perspective shifts the focus from self-interest to a broader sense of interconnectedness, where wealth is found in the well-being of others as much as in one's own. Ultimately, by redefining riches, the Stoics encourage us to look inward, to find wealth not in what we possess, but in who we become. By cultivating virtues, managing our desires, and accepting the transient nature of material goods, we find a wealth that is invulnerable to loss and independent of external circumstances. This redefinition of riches leads to a life of greater freedom, contentment, and fulfillment. As we come to realize that true wealth is not about accumulating things, but about cultivating the qualities that bring lasting peace and joy. Through this Stoic practice, we can experience a richness that transcends the limitations of time and circumstance, a wealth that is eternal and rooted in our own character and inner tranquility. Control what you can. The Stoic philosophy teaches a fundamental principle that has the power to transform one's perspective on life. Control what you can. This simple yet profound idea encapsulates the essence of Stoicism and offers a practical approach to dealing with the challenges and uncertainties that inevitably arise in life. According to the Stoics, there are two realms that govern our existence: the external world, which is beyond our control, and our internal world, which is within our control. The external world encompasses everything from the actions of others, to natural events, to the broader societal forces that shape our lives. The Stoics acknowledge that we have no power over these external circumstances. However, what we do have control over is how we respond to them, our thoughts, emotions, judgments, and actions. This distinction is crucial for understanding Stoic resilience and how one can cultivate peace of mind, regardless of the external conditions. Epictetus, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, famously stated, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." He explained that our desires, beliefs, and attitudes are within our control, whereas external events such as illness, loss, or even the weather are not. This understanding is liberating because it frees us from the futile attempt to control everything around us. By focusing on what is within our power, the way we think and act, we can achieve a sense of mastery over our lives. The Stoic idea of controlling what we can encourages self-discipline and emotional regulation. Life often presents challenges that trigger strong emotional reactions, such as anger, fear, anxiety, or frustration. These emotions arise from our judgments about external events. When we allow our emotions to be dictated by circumstances outside our control, we become slaves to those circumstances. The Stoics advocate for cultivating the ability to detach from these external influences and to exercise control over how we respond emotionally. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions, but rather recognizing them, understanding their root causes, and choosing how to act in alignment with reason. For example, when faced with an insult or injustice, a Stoic would focus not on trying to change the behavior of the person who wronged them, but on controlling their own reaction to the situation. The Stoic's response might involve calmly considering the situation, understanding that the other person's behavior reflects their own beliefs and struggles, and choosing not to internalize the offense. In this way, the Stoic transforms what might have been an emotional outburst into an opportunity for self-mastery. The Stoic approach to controlling what we can also extends to our desires and attachments. The pursuit of external goods, such as wealth, fame, or status, can lead to suffering because these things are uncertain and beyond our control. In contrast, Stoicism teaches that we can choose to focus on developing virtues such as wisdom, courage, and justice, which are always within our grasp. The Stoics do not advocate for complete detachment from the world, but for a mindset that recognizes the impermanence of external goods. By not relying on external circumstances for happiness, we are able to maintain our equanimity, regardless of whether we gain or lose those things. This doesn't mean that the Stoics reject wealth or success, but rather that they do not view these things as the ultimate measure of a good life. Instead, a Stoic life is one focused on cultivating inner strength and virtue, and in this, the individual finds a richness that is independent of external factors. The ability to control what we can also involves accepting what is outside our control. Stoics understand that resistance to things we cannot change only leads to frustration and suffering. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, often reflected on the idea that we are part of a larger, interconnected system governed by nature. If we resist the natural flow of life, we waste energy fighting forces we cannot change. By accepting the impermanence of life and recognizing that change is inevitable, we develop resilience. This acceptance is not passive resignation, but an active choice to focus on what we can control: our own actions, attitudes, and reactions. For instance, if a Stoic faces a loss, whether it's the death of a loved one or the end of a relationship, they would first allow themselves to grieve, acknowledging the pain of the situation. However, they would not dwell in anger or despair. Instead, they would focus on how to move forward with dignity and wisdom, understanding that loss is a part of life and that their response to it is what defines their character. In practical terms, the Stoic practice of controlling what you can be cultivated through daily reflection and mindfulness. Stoics often engage in practices such as journaling or meditative contemplation, where they examine their thoughts, behaviors, and emotions. Through this process, they can identify areas where they may be allowing external events to have too much influence over their inner peace. By cultivating self-awareness, Stoics become better equipped to recognize what is within their control and where they might be wasting energy on things outside their grasp. This practice can also involve preparing for challenges in advance. For example, a Stoic might anticipate that a difficult situation, such as a challenging work environment or a personal conflict, could trigger certain emotional responses. By mentally rehearsing how they will respond, they can maintain composure and act with reason when faced with the situation. The Stoic understanding of control is also deeply connected to the idea of moral responsibility. While external events may be beyond our influence, the Stoics believe that we are always responsible for how we choose to act. This means that even when faced with unfair treatment or external hardship, we can choose to respond in a way that aligns with our highest values. Stoic philosophy encourages individuals to take ownership of their behavior and decisions, acknowledging that while we cannot control the actions of others, we can control our own. This accountability empowers individuals to lead lives of integrity and purpose, making choices that reflect their character rather than their circumstances. Ultimately, the Stoic practice of controlling what you can offers a powerful antidote to the chaos and unpredictability of life. By accepting that some things are beyond our control and focusing our energy on what is within our power, we can cultivate a sense of inner peace and resilience. The more we internalize this principle, the less we are at the mercy of external forces and the more we can lead lives guided by wisdom, virtue, and tranquility. The Stoics teach us that by taking control of our own minds, actions, and attitudes, we can transform even the most difficult situations into opportunities for growth and self-mastery, leading to a life of greater meaning and fulfillment. As we come to the end of this discussion on getting rich is easy, let's take a moment to reflect on what true wealth really means. The conventional idea of riches, defined by material possessions, bank accounts, or social status, is fleeting and often out of our control. True richness, however, is rooted in the values we cultivate within ourselves. It's about the inner wealth we gain through discipline, wisdom, gratitude, and the ability to control our reactions to the world around us. If you've learned anything from this, it's that getting rich isn't about accumulating things. It's about mastering yourself, making conscious choices, and focusing on what you can control. The Stoics remind us that we already have everything we need to live a life of meaning and fulfillment. So, the next time you think about wealth, remember that it's not the things you own that make you rich, but how you choose to live, how you respond to challenges, and the virtues you practice every day. Getting rich is easy, but only when we redefine what it truly means to be wealthy. So take step toward more beneficial Stoic informations and follow to my channel Wise Mind Echo to become a Stoic.